Welcome back to Collector Not Hoarder. This is Tom. Today I want to go over just a couple cards from my collection that I refer to as crossover cards. To me, a crossover card is a card that kind of ties together multiple aspects of my collection. If you've seen my previous videos, you know I collect a wide variety of things from sports and non-sports. And if I can find a card that kind of pulls some of those pieces together, I like to get those cards. And the cards there in the background kind of are the cards that I have as representations for the pieces of these crossover cards that I'm going to be sharing with you today. So the first card here is the 1932 Olympia. This is a German card, and it's got a ton of star power on it here. We got surfer Duke Kahanamoku, Amelia Earhart, Olympic runner Pavlo Nurmi, actor Douglas Fairbanks, and I believe this is another runner from the Olympics. And there's just so much to enjoy about this card. These are some of the best during this era. And to have them all on one card is pretty incredible. And actually, the only card that I really have that goes along with this card is this card back here. This is a 1917 Chromo Gravure borderless card of Douglas Fairbanks. And although I'd love to have like other cards of these people in this image, he's the only one that I actually have separate. But just an incredible card with a lot of different pieces of history here. So here's the back of it, and these cards can be had for pretty reasonable prices if you're patient and you look for them. But the back is all in German here. So there's that. That's the first one I wanted to share. Next up is this 1912 Case automobile postcard, and this card has Hall of Fame auto driver Barney Oldfield and Hall of Fame baseball player Joe Tinker. And down at the bottom it says Barney Oldfield at the wheel giving Joe Tinker, Cub shortstop, his first lesson in running his new Case car. So this is a great postcard that incorporates auto driving and baseball. Obviously, baseball was my first passion when collecting, but Barney Oldfield, which is this card back here, that's his 1911 T36, and that is probably one of my most favorite pre-war cards of any card. But this thing is really cool. You know, I was getting into postcards. This one is posted. It's postmarked in 1912 here. But this is a great card to tie baseball and auto driving together. So absolutely love this. And I mean, if it's a postcard of a Hall of Fame baseball player, that alone kind of makes it pretty incredible. But that you got Barney Oldfield on there as well. Just such a neat piece. Next is kind of like one of my ultimate crossover pieces, and this is a postcard. They say circa 1910. It is unposted, so I don't know the exact year, but this is an incredible piece. This has Hall of Fame boxer Jack Johnson and Tommy Burns, and then cricket player C.B. Fry, W.G. Grace. Those are also, Grace is a Hall of Fame cricketer. And then at the bottom, you have George Hackenschmidt and bodybuilder Eugene Sandow. So a lot of these guys on here I really enjoy collecting. I have quite a bit of Jack Johnson cards, but I just pulled one out to represent him here. That's the 1909 Ogdens. That's considered his rookie card there. Then I have a 1896 Wills W.G. Grace. I believe that's considered his rookie. There may be something earlier that I'm not familiar with. And then over here on the right, this is a 1910 Koch brothers of George Hackenschmidt. I collect a lot of George Hackenschmidt. So this piece here is amazing. So it's referred to as the Popular Athletes postcard. And oh, I actually have a CB Fry card back here. That's a 1908 Wills CB Fry. That's probably like his 10th year card. I don't even know, but he's got much earlier cards than that one. But this is just an amazing piece that kind of encompasses a lot of what I collect. So this was a must-have for my collection. I got this a couple years ago. It's actually one of my only auction house purchases. I believe I got it through REA, but there's a couple of them on eBay that you can find. But definitely a neat postcard, especially if you collect cricket or boxing and even some wrestling. So definitely a cool card. And then last but not least is the 1932 Bulgaria Sport of Hall of Fame boxer Max Schmeling and Hall of Fame player Babe Ruth. So I posted this not too long ago on my Instagram, and jokingly I said I finally got my first playing days Max Schmeling card. And it's actually my first Ruth card in my collection. I was very happy to add this. Back here is actually, this is a 1929 Max Schmeling. But I collect a lot of boxing and a lot of baseball, and this was one of the ultimates for me to have here. So finally was able to get my first Ruth card, and it's a very affordable Ruth card for a playing days Ruth. And, you know, it's not just like a drawing like the Churchman's or the Sanella card. It's an actual, you know, photo image of Ruth, and you can see his face clearly standing there in his New York uniform. So this is a great one to add. This is actually a foreign card as well. I believe that's all in German as well. But there's a little light staining that goes across it because these are typically glued into albums. But this one was a pretty nice example. But I think these are really fun to collect. These what I call crossover cards. So I like to tie pieces of my collection together, and these do the trick for me. So I appreciate you guys watching, and remember, there's a fine line between a collector and a hoarder. Which one are you?